everyone, and welcome to John Talks Indian Cinema. I am your host, the Indian Cine-MANIAC, back with another 10ish-minute review. So this is off the recommended list, and I've got a list. Let me share my list right here. I actually have it out, so I know who recommended these films. And this is the list I'm working on right now, okay? You can't really see the names on it, which is okay. But I've got the people who recommended it. So I'm getting through this list, and I'm about, I think I'm about halfway done with it. And I've got a lot more recommendations, which is great. I appreciate that. I love it. But I just can't watch 10 movies a day. So it's a slow process, but I'm going to get to them. And when you make a recommendation, I add it to my recommended list, and we'll get to them eventually. And we're going to sprinkle in some trailer reactions, and also if a film comes out locally that I can see in the movie theater, I'm going to go see that too. Okay, so just keep that in mind. So the film that I will be doing a 10-ish minute review on today was recommended by a long time and loyal maniac at Imperious King. And the film he recommended is the 2017 film Mom. It's directed by Ravi Udyawar. Udyawar. It stars Sridevi, which, excuse me, I didn't remember that she had passed, and she was in a film that I loved called Vinglish. And it was funny because as I'm watching this film, she reminded me of a younger Taboo. She looked like she's great, by the way. Akshaye Khanna, who I've seen in a bunch of stuff, Drishyam 2, Dil Chahta Hai, Sajal Ali, Nawazuddin Siddiqui, who I have to tell you that he reminds me a lot of Fafa. Because I've seen him in a lot of stuff. And the last few things I've seen him in have been so starkly different than the previous performance. So I saw him in Banrangi Bhajaan, Gangs of Wasseypur, Sacred Games, among other things. And as I said, Sridevi died in 2018. And that's tough because she's a really good actress. And she was good in this. Okay, so the story, it's not an original story. Okay, so let's start right there. But the story is about a couple who have two daughters, one biological daughter of both of them, and one of the father. Now, you don't know what happened to her mother, but they kind of imply she passed. Now, I'm not sure if that's true or not, because I don't think they said it, but he remarried to, her name is Devki. But the daughter, Arya, only calls her ma'am, never calls her mom. And is dismissive of Devki, loves the father, loves her sister, doesn't treat the mother well almost through the entire film. Almost the entire film, she's just mean to the mother. And the pain that the mother feels is heartbreaking. Really, really heartbreaking. Well, through a series of events, she goes to a party, the daughter, while the father's away in New York, and gets basically kidnapped, gang raped, strangled, and left in a drain ditch. The attackers thinking she's dead. Now, you know who the attackers are from the beginning. One is a schoolmate, and the others are all connected to each other. And she, the mother, they find the girl, they bring her to the hospital, and it's brutal. And so now she wakes up, she tells the cops who the attackers were. They arrest the attackers, And the cop there, Matthew, is played by Akshay Khanna. He's good in this. I really liked him in this. He wants to put these guys in jail. They capture him. Now, all the evidence goes against her, like exonerating the four guys, even though as the viewer, the four guys did it. Okay. So they are acquitted, which of course is like she's been attacked a second time. So the mother wants revenge on these four guys. And with the help of a private investigator named DK, played by Siddiqui, who at first I didn't even know it was him. That's what I mean about him and Fafa. Because I just watched Barat also that he was in, and I didn't even know it was him. It took a while for me to figure out it was him. And he's like a chameleon, like Fafa, where they like his hairstyle gave him a big high forehead, just so different. And he was really good in this. He works with her on getting information on the four culprits to exact her revenge, which she does. In fact, one of them gets castrated. One of them gets poisoned with cyanide or apple seeds. One of them is framed for killing the guy with cyanide. And then finally, the last bad guy, Jagan, who's a really bad guy. The other three are thugs, but this guy's like a criminal. And he's the big baddie in this. So that's the story. So I would say this, that the story's a 3 only because it's been made. You've seen this story a million times. Maybe not in India, because the dynamic of men and women are very different. But this is the second time this actress has played such a strong character, because English Vinglish, she doesn't start off strong, but she ends up strong. So she's a force of nature as an actress. She was really good in this. But not original. Also, some of the beats were very predictable. I have to be honest with you. Now, did that take away from the enjoyment that I had of this film? Absolutely not. But it was predictable. There were things you could see coming a mile away. Some you didn't, which I'll get into. So there were a few things in this that I want to talk about. I mean, they didn't show the rape, but somehow they were connected to the mother, who's a teacher at school. So they kept saying the whole time, "Call her mom, call her mom, call her mom," and they're implying what's happening, right? And then when she gets thrown out, you think she's dead. She's in this drain with water, and she just looks dead. I mean, it was brutal, and they didn't sugarcoat that in any way. And then when she ends up hooking up with the detective DK, he is sympathetic because he's got a daughter. So he's helping, but he's being very clandestine. Like they meet, they don't look at each other. And then eventually the cop catches on to what's been going on. First they think it's the father, then they realize it's her. And he's sympathetic to her too, but he says, "Look, if I catch you, you're going to go to jail because this is wrong." So I thought that was good. Um, um, there were a couple lines in here that I really liked. Like there's a line in there about God can't be everywhere. That's why he created mothers. Because, of course, the assumption is that it's the father who's exacting revenge, because that's what fathers do, right? And the whole time it's the mother. And she used the fact that nobody would even ponder that it was her, to her advantage, which I loved. And then they go to an art gallery, DK and uh, Devki, and they're looking at these paintings, and one of them was just blood, and I can't remember what the word was, but it meant the ancient tale of revenge, and that was like, as soon as they walked into that room with the blood canvas, I mean, it wasn't very subtle. Um, uh, Oh, and one, I guess I'll talk about that in performances. But there was also a scene where a very surprising scene where the bad guy confronts DK and is beating him up to get information, and DK won't give up the information. Finally, he gives the information up. But even in doing that, he was he was like needling the bad guy, talking about, you're not a man for what you did, kind of egging him on. And the guy just, shoots him with a silencer. And that was awful. You felt so bad for the guy because all he was trying to do was help. And then you hear a voiceover of him talking about he sympathizes with Devki because he has a daughter too. But then what you find out is he set the guy up because his glasses are video glasses, which I actually have a pair of, by the way. I do have video glasses. Um, so he exacted his revenge even in death. I love that. And there was also a scene where the bad guy ends up confronting him in a vacation home, and you think he kills the father. And I was like, oh my God, what the hell's going on? And you think he kills her. Puts a plastic bag over her head, and it looks like she just suffocated. But she didn't, and that was kind of, I mean, but that whole ending was very predictable what was going to happen. Even the end with the daughter, where she finally calls her mom, and then there's that whole emotional scene. The camera is spinning around them. It was heartfelt, and it was very emotional the way they played it, absolutely. But it was totally predictable. Um, Now, as far as the performances go, look, it's her, it's the cop Matthew, and it's DK. And based on those three performances, the daughter was good, but she was almost the animosity towards or towards Devki was almost a little too much, I thought. Like not believable. Even through because it lasted the whole movie. Even when she was in the hospital with her, even when she's trying to console her, she was just kind of nasty towards her. And I didn't really buy that. But the three main parts, because the father's not in it all that much because he's always traveling. I give the performances a 4. They were unbelievable. Like the mother when they bring her to the hospital to visit the daughter the first night that they find her, and she walks in and sees her beaten and bloodied. The way she played that, I can't even fathom what a parent would feel like if that happened to them. But I believed her. It was just heartbreaking. You just felt for her so much, and the girl too. And the cop was he was a good guy. He was trying to do the right thing, but he also wasn't going to, except for the end. At the end, she's got a chance to kill him, and he goes, "If you do that, I'm going to arrest you." And then he says, "Take my gun and use that." And I was like, "Whoa!" So he felt for her, and he wanted this guy. And that guy Jagan at the end was just awful. You wanted him to be killed. Okay, you were rooting for him to be killed. So I thought the performances were fantastic. Again, I give it a 4. The music. There wasn't musical numbers. This movie would not have been appropriate for that. I mean, the closest thing was when she went to the party and they had the big dance number, and it was a high school party, and I'm trying to. I wrote down the lyrics to the song. Yeah, "Let Me Live the Way I Want," which is obviously it's the girl's story, right? And it didn't go the way she wanted to, but whatever. And there was a few, but the incidental music was really good. So I'm going to give the music a 4 because it fit really well with the tension that they were building throughout the movie. So overall, I'm going to give this movie a 4. I really did. I liked it. It was hard. It was a hard watch because of how brutal the aftermath of the attack was. How I don't want to say because she wasn't broken. That's not right. That's not the right word. But her Sridevi. I hope I'm saying that right. Sridevi. Sridevi's character, you just felt for her because she loved this Arya and thought of her as a daughter. But even throughout all of this, It's like she wanted nothing to do with her. And the pain that she conveyed it was just heartbreaking. It really was. And then the strength that she showed, especially she confronts the one guy that she poisoned, it didn't kill him, but he was all, he suffered, and it was just awful. But she, in fact, I wrote down what she said because I freaking loved it. She's sitting down like she's consoling him, right? And she says, I want you to think about that night every day. Call your mom. Her mom is here. And she leaves sliced apples on his tray. And that's when he realized she's the one who did all this. It was a great scene. So yeah, I give it a 4. I really like this movie, Imperious King. So thank you for recommending it. It's a shame that she's not around because she reminded me of a young Taboo. She looks just like her, and she was dynamite in this. I know I keep repeating myself, but Siddiqui, he's so good. And it's funny because the first few things I saw him in, he played essentially the same type of character. So I said, okay, this is gonna be one of those guys you're always playing this role. But no, he's so good and he's so different, and he's a small guy. So to see him with this big giant guy that was beating him up, and he's still holding his own. I don't mean in a fight, but like he's not going to let the guy intimidate him. It was just really well done. But I just love his stuff, and I really, he's like, again, like Fafa. I've become a big fan of his. So anyway, that's my 10ish-minute review. Let me know what you guys think in the comment section if you have indeed seen it. And as you know, by the subscriber count, I'm creeping to my goal of 400. That's the next milestone that I'm going for, and I'm very close, thanks to all of you. So if you are a first time watcher of the channel, you know what to do. Subscribe, hit the notification button, hit the like button, and the most important thing, because this is how the community and channel is being built, you guys are sharing the videos. Please do that, okay? And if you got a trailer you want me to watch or a 10ish-minute review you want me to do, put it in the comment section. You recommend it, I'll watch it eventually. Okay, that's it. Thanks for watching, everyone. We'll see you next time on John Talks Indian Cinema with another 10ish-minute review. Thanks for watching, everyone.
Zooby dooby nache kyun pagal stupid man. Zooby dooby pampara zooby dooby parampa. Zooby dooby nache kyun pagal stupid man.